Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and welcome if you've never been here before. My name is Ash. I do television commentary, especially LGBTQ commentary, and I cover shows like The L Word, The Morning Show, Station 19, Grey's Anatomy, and also some not so queer stuff like Succession, and I also will be covering the new season of Dexter. So if you are interested in any of those shows, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and also let me know your thoughts on the episode today. I'm going to be going through and mainly focusing on Bradley and Laura's scenes. I love Reese Witherspoon. I've loved her since I was like a teenager, and I love Jennifer Aniston, love Juliana Margulies, Steve Carell, everyone. So I started watching the show last season and I loved it. And now with Laura and Bradley, I thought, why not add it into my repertoire for my YouTube channel? So let's get right into it today. I'm going to be putting the scenes on the screen so you guys can follow along. I always caveat all of this by saying, I wish I could play the entire scene, unbroken, but the YouTube copyright gods would strike me where I stand. So I'll be clipping them and sharing as much as I can without getting copyright claimed. So let's get into today's episode 6 of season 2, A Private Person. So of course, see Bradley and Laura like sleeping, and it just gives me that feeling of like the calm before the storm, because last episode, I'm sure everybody else thought this, that they were going to out Bradley and Laura. Like I think that was pretty obvious and like established last episode. So straight away we get into them on the phone and with the Vault magazine that we've been hearing about. So
2 major female celebrities in a secret same-sex relationship.
Those kind of stories don't have legs like they used to.
I can assure you, this story is going to be a big win.
See, a lot of people will say that, like, oh, times have changed, like it's different now, but there's still this like tier of A-listers and stuff that it is very common to be like not open. And even if you look like the past 20 years, like that's changed a lot, even of the cast of the L Word who were on a gay show, like they weren't comfortable with being out, and now that's changed, and most of the people on the L Word are on the LGBTQ spectrum in some way, not all but some. And some people have said, oh, they're kind of putting a gay character in here for like ratings and stuff. And I really disagree with that. I think that this is, one, I am super happy that there is a same-sex couple on such a huge show like this with playing by an Oscar winner. Like, this doesn't happen on everyday stuff, because a lot of the time they will put queer couples or a queer character on to basically come out and then they fade into the background, or they're like a minor character. So I am so happy that they did this. And also, everybody talks about queer baiting now, which a lot of shows do. There's so many examples of that with like Supergirl and Rizzoli and Isles, and you can go on forever with stuff like that. But I did kind of last season think, oh, like Bradley, I wonder if she, and then the fact that they did it is just, I love that we're having this representation front and center, and I hope that it continues. The one bad thing about this episode was that Jennifer Aniston wasn't in it, Alex wasn't in it, but we have everybody like Mia and Stella and Chip and stuff discussing who's going to replace Alex.
Until Alex gets back. Somebody even bigger than Alex, and somebody who you'd never expect to do it forever. So let's think now.
What about Laura Peterson?
Yes, let's do that.
So they're kind of don't think of anyone, and it's silent, and then Chip suggests Laura Peterson, and yeah, it's like ding ding ding, jackpot, because I know that this story is going to come out. And then even just getting Laura on the morning show, and yeah, so obviously, me and Stella and stuff don't know that, but yeah, So they're happy about that. Okay, so we zip very quickly over to Laura's house, which it's amazing. And Bradley is there and they're just being super cute and adorable.
Fill in for Alex until her back heals.
Oh, come on, Corey.
Now, the hours aren't great. There's nothing I can do about that, but there's no heavy lifting. You just come in, you be you.
So, of course, Bradley's like, yes, 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 please. Because, I mean, especially like like when lesbians get in a relationship together, they're just like, I mean, the U-Haul joke exists because it's true. And she just, you know, obviously would really want her new girlfriend to go to work with her and stuff. So I don't think Laura would have said yes if it wasn't for like if Bradley didn't exist and she was just being asked to fill in. I don't think so, but
Sure. What the hell?
God, you are seriously.
So Laura says yes. And then they're kind of discussing going to the studio.
Ask crack of dawn. Maybe I could just sleep over.
I'd be amenable to
U-Haul.
that.
Great.
Look, if you want to leave some stuff here, I've got plenty of closet space. There's no reason for you to be running back and forth.
Oh, that's so cute. So Laura is obviously like, yeah, you can leave some stuff here, blah, blah, blah. And Bradley looks like super, super happy, but trying to like keep her cool a little bit. So it's the next day and Laura is there in her like totally, you know, businesswoman in the late 90s, early 2000s look, and it's a very Bette Porter collar. And so Bradley is coming into set and they're both like all smiles seeing each other. And then of course Corey's like there.
Laura, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Oh, the whole time I'm watching this episode, I just keep getting this like, you know, the calm before a storm, like a picturesque day before the shark attack or something, because you just know it's coming, but they're all so like happy and cute and oh, it's just awful.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Like, look at them. This is so cute.
This is exciting.
Now it's going to be a disaster. So the show is still going and the segments are going really well. Like Bradley and Laura being super cute and adorable.
Oh, well, go for it. It's your show.
Okay, are you going to be the patient?
I'll be the patient.
Okay.
Doctor.
All right.
Getting that feeling again. You just know that they're going to use this as like fodder or like you know, like they're gonna take out of context and like Photoshop. And yeah, I just feel so bad for them because you know it's coming. So we see Bradley and Laura kind of like just standing off to the side waiting on the next segment, and Bradley's texting her brother and he sends her a Vault article that says Laura Peterson and Bradley Jackson dating, and Bradley opens it up and you can just see her face is like sheer panic. 19 seconds.
You'll be fine. 10 seconds.
Laura's like panicked but trying to stay calm. And of course Bradley has to go back on camera and she's just kind of walking like absolutely shell-shocked. And yeah, you just feel so bad for her because, I mean, everybody, like, the majority of people know what it's like to be closeted, like the majority of gay people, obviously. And you do have that, like, complete sense of panic that someone will find out until you're ready to come out. I mean, like, I came out when I was, like, 19 and literally, you know, I talk about it on the internet now, like I could not care less. But when it's that time in your life, like that is the thing that you worry and like have constant fear of, and it's awful. It really, really weighs on you, and I cannot imagine what it's like when you're in the national spotlight and like a celebrity and it happens. Like it just must be magnified to like 1,000,000 degrees what the average like gay queer person goes through. And so obviously, like, while Bradley's filming her segment, and we just see like the camera going around to everybody on the show, like from the other anchors to, you know, the people in the control room and people, just like the camera people, and they're all like, obviously Bradley thinks, oh, they're all talking about me and they're whispering and stuff like that. Okay, so Bradley's gone to her dressing room. Obviously she's like freaking out.
Get out. Why? Because people see us going out of the same room. That's not good.
Well, if it were true, then we would have to make sure we weren't seen together.
Yeah, like that is a good point. And people are gonna talk, like, no matter what, and they have enough now that, you know, they'll take like the pictures from those segments and things, and just, yeah, people, I just feel really bad for them. And like, Laura's just come back to the show as like a favor and like kind of a, you know, oh, I'm popping in, and this is what happens. Like, she's never gonna do this show again, that's for damn sure.
Like, everybody's staring at us.
Well, they are. There are cameras pointing at us. We're on TV.
That's like a Laura being logical, but there's like nothing in this situation that they can really do, because no matter what, people are going to say things. And like, obviously Bradley is really far away from that line of, I can be okay with this. So I think Laura's just, it's also hard for Laura because she's done the work and like, I'm assuming the therapy and all these things to become okay with not only herself and like her gayness and everything, but through what happened to her and how everything, like, we don't know extreme details of like the repercussions, but we know like she was outed and all this stuff happened to her. And I'm sure obviously that's all really difficult for Laura to be back in this mindset, but to also be dating someone who is so closeted and so not okay with their own queerness. So yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be like a common thread in their relationship until Bradley does the work and gets there.
Anybody knowing my business, especially my family.
Oh, Bradley.
We are supposed to be on
I know, but I'm serious. I can't have people judging me.
Judging you for what?
If people know that I'm in a relationship, then they'll know when it ends.
So Bradley sucks it up, goes back out there, they finish the show. But then she won't leave her dressing room, and Laura calls her from, Laura's like at home already.
But you're not a kid anymore. Fucked up kids have an excuse. Fucked up adults get therapy. Fucked up adults
True.
Their circumstances. That's
Preach, Laura. Like, this is honestly, this is a bit like what I was saying before, that Bradley has obviously just like pushed this down and not addressed it her entire life. Like, Bradley's not 20, you know, she hasn't done the work on herself. She's just avoided, and we know she's kind of like not really stayed anywhere and like put roots down and all this stuff. So I just I do really feel for her, but at the same time she has to do the work on her. I mean, everybody's like got their stuff, and like a bad childhood isn't an excuse for being like a shitty adult. Like, you have to put the work in, and yeah, some people have to do more work than others, and is it fair? No, but you can't just like blame everything on that.
do what you have to do.
I'm sorry.
Do what you have to do with your brother. Go home.
I mean, I do feel really bad for Bradley, and probably if I was Laura, I would have dealt with this a little bit differently, because Bradley has like basically no one, and this relationship is really new and fresh, and then to have all of this piled on top of it, along with just like the usual stuff that they have of being obviously public figures and things like that, I do think it's enormous amount of pressure. And then Bradley seriously has like issues with not just like her queerness or whatever, but everything because she doesn't want people to know anything about her because she lives in fear of the judgment of people. But you have to accept that no matter what, people are always going to judge you, whether they see a picture of her on a subway car and don't know anything else about her. There's going to be people that like her, that don't like her, and if you put yourself out there in any way, there's always going to be comments and like criticism and things like that. And when you're putting yourself in some sort of public facing thing, whether it be a tiny YouTube channel or on a national television to millions of people, like, you have to do the work on yourself to be okay with who you are and okay with every aspect of your life, so that when these people write shitty things that they don't even know anything about you a lot of the time, people that will immediately criticize you, you need to be able to take it and for those things to bounce off and to enjoy the good things that people write. And I always like to think I never take criticism from someone I wouldn't take advice from. And when I see like shitty comments from people that can't even like string a sentence together properly and they've got some nameless and faceless account, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure this is some Victoria's Secret's absolute, genius that is really out here judging people because they're so perfect. So I do really feel bad for Bradley, but I think that she really needs to go do that work on herself. And so we see Bradley go back to the hotel and, has an argument with her brother. And then Corey turns up and she just, oh, poor Reese. She's just such a good actor. Like, she's an Oscar winner. Like, we know.
Maybe it's good that this is happening, because it's gonna force me to say that I care about somebody. I've never really done that before.
That's a good way to look at it. Like, even though this is a horrible situation and stuff, like, it is forcing her to confront who she is and to, like she said, she hasn't even, had a relationship last longer than a few months. And I mean, yes, it's early days, but they both seem to really like each other and like they're kind of perfect for each other.
Glad that it worked out. And just have a good night.
So that was the end of the episode, and they're still in turmoil, they're still dealing with all the kind of repercussions of the story being printed about them, and I'm sure there will be a bit more dealing with this because Bradley's got some deep wounds that she needs to work on and heal. And yeah, I think therapy would be a great first step for her. And I really hope that they do work on things and that it's all happens for a reason and worth it in the end, because they're absolutely adorable together. And I also think they exist in this same world, and even like Laura's done Bradley's role before and stuff, so I think that they could be a really awesome couple, and I hope that they last. This is television, so you never know. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Alex's reaction to all of this, because I really missed her this episode and I can't wait to see her back in action, hopefully next week. So let me know your thoughts on the episode down in the comment section. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of my morning show videos. And as I said, I do a bunch of other shows, so look out for those videos as well. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on the video. And you can follow me on social media. I have a Patreon, a merch store, all of that stuff will be linked in the description box down below. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.